Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FPL Yusuf, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be looking ahead at match day 5, the quarterfinals of the Euros. We're going to be talking about our transfer targets. We're going to go through each position, start from goalkeeper all the way to forwards. We're going to look at our top 3 picks for each position, and then, we'll go over a few little bit more details about how the next round of fixtures are going to work, if we should be using maybe a chip, if you've still got it left, and a whole lot more. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on another video here today. Like I said in the intro, we're going to get into our transfer targets. We're just going to have a little recap over how this game week's gone. And actually, to be honest with you, we've actually had a very good game week. We're currently on 83 points. Now, we do have one player left to play, which is Cody Gakpo. At the time of me recording this video, it's currently Tuesday afternoon. So the last round of 16 games haven't been played yet. We've got Portugal against Romania, and we've also got Turkey and Austria. So we nearly know all the games going into the quarterfinals and who's playing who. We just have these last two to go ahead before we find out which ones go through. But so for the majority of it, it's kind of been teams that we would expect to go through, despite a few little scares here and there for a few teams. All the teams that we kind of expected to go through have gone through. And yeah, as you guys can see on screen, we've had a good week because of it. The France double defense coming in clutch with a clean sheet. Portugal too as well, after having maybe a little bit of a few scares last night. Obviously Jude Bellingham turning up as well right at the death for England, had a big impact as our captain as well. So yeah, all in all, good game week, 83 points currently. Still Cody Gakpo to play as well. So yeah, very happy with how the teams sort of progressed this game week. Now, the one thing I'm going to get onto before we get into the actual transfer picks is about chips and whether you have chips or not. Now, I think a lot of people would have played probably at least one by now. So I think if you've got a limitless or a wild card, I think it's sort of team dependent on how your team's set up. So for me personally, going into the next week, I only need to make a few transfers. Now, you currently have 3 transfers going into the quarterfinals, which for me personally is enough. I would try and urge any of you guys to save your chip for when you get to the semifinals, because that is probably going to be, you're probably going to have a lot more players who are going out. So I think right now a lot of people are going to have German players as well as some Spanish players, and obviously one of them is going to be leaving the competition. Same thing for the Portugal and France matchup in the quarterfinals. We've probably got players from both, so there's probably going to be more players leaving the tournament that we currently have in our teams going into the semi-finals. So yeah, I would try and urge you guys, if you have limitless or wildcard left, just try and hold on to it. I personally will be using my wildcard after the quarterfinals going into the semis, to try and set it up for the semi-final, and of course like trying to predict who's going to go through to the final. But yeah, if you guys have got a chip, just try and hold on to it. If you've got both of them still left in the bank, then feel free. Maybe a limitless is good for you this week if your team's looking good beyond that. But yeah, just my advice is try and keep a hold of one of them if you possibly can. But obviously it is quite team dependent. Okay, so goalkeepers and defenders. It's getting to the stage now where it's getting a little bit tricky. Obviously, we're going to be having players playing against each other as the rounds progress. Teams get less and less throughout the competition. So, firstly, I'm going to start off with Mike Maignan, and it's going to be very similar to the picks I chose last week. And we actually did have some success with these picks last week. And now Maignan has obviously got France. Obviously got a very tough game against Portugal. If I had to predict who was going to win this, I don't think it will be a high scoring game at all. I do think France will get through, but I can genuinely see it being a 1-0, the same way France played in their last round. They defended well as a team, got the goal late on against Belgium. And there was never going to be a big score in that game. It was always going to be a tight affair. You've got world-class players on both sides of the pitch. And I think this game against Portugal is probably going to be the same, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a very close game. I do see France just about going ahead, even though France aren't in the best of form. What I saw from Portugal last night looked like a little bit wasteful in attack, and obviously France's defense is going to be a lot better than what Slovakia's was. Yeah, for me, Mike Maignan obviously kept a clean sheet last round as well, is going to be my starting keeper on this pick. The second one is I'm going to carry on going with England, and I'm going to go for Jordan Pickford. Now, bear in mind, I do think this one will be a trickier game than maybe is what is given on paper. Switzerland have looked very, very well organised. They haven't really got many big stars, but they've looked very well organised. Now, obviously, Mark Gahey is currently suspended, and we're going to get onto that because one of our picks for the defenders is a replacement for him. So maybe it has a little impact on England's play. Jordan Pickford is very fairly reliable for England. I wouldn't have too many problems going against him and having him in the team. I think it is a tough one because obviously England haven't played the best, but at some point they're going to have to turn up, and maybe this is the game that they do it. Switzerland, like I said, on paper, there's not really a match there. However, what we've seen from the eye test is that Switzerland have been the better team throughout the tournament. So yeah, I think Pickford is a good pick. I'll put this isn't in any order, by the way. This is just put on screen for solely just 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, I think Pickford as one of the 3 keepers. If you're not using the chip this week and you already have him, I wouldn't worry about getting rid of him. I think he's a fine pick just to hold and just to take through with you. And the last pick I'm going to go for in goalkeepers, I'm actually going to go for Unai Simon from Spain. Now, this one is probably one of the ties of the round coming to the quarterfinals, and that's Spain against Germany. Now, both teams have looked very good throughout the tournament, but Spain in particular have looked phenomenal. They absolutely smoked Georgia in the last round. Now, I know it was probably expected, but the way they played, they attacked so crisply. They literally gave up one chance, which unfortunately was an own goal from Spain's point of view. But defensively throughout the whole tournament, they've been excellent. And I think Unai Simon is a very good goalkeeper himself. Spain themselves are playing really well. Like I said, it will be a difficult game because obviously Germany have found some sort of form, but I don't know if they just haven't looked as good as maybe the opening game on that first week against Scotland. The goals have dried up a little bit. Obviously, you know, Musiala still continuing to have an impact on the team. But yeah, for me personally, I think I'm just going to go with Unai Simon. Okay, so now onto the defenders. Now, I touched on it just there briefly with England. Obviously, Mark Gahey would have been on this list. Now, we had him last week, and he did actually come back with a 7-point haul, which, you know, maybe a little bit unlucky because he didn't keep a clean sheet. But yeah, he got an assist obviously right at the death for the Bellingham goal. Now obviously he's suspended because he picked up a yellow card, which means that England are going to have to replace him with someone. I have a strong suspicion that it's going to be Ezri Konsa, and I think with the way, like I said, England haven't been playing that great, so I think there's a good chance of ball recoveries here. So I'm going to put Ezri Konsa in there because I do think he's going to drop into that left hand side. He'll probably be fairly low owned, if I'm being honest with you. I think a lot of people will probably be betting against England just based on the form that they've seen, which is understandable. But yeah, I think Ezri Konsa for me will be a good addition to that backline. And he looks very solid. He came on, you know, for the last sort of 10, 15 minutes of that game. And he looked very good actually at that left centre back, left back type role. So yeah, I think he will be the natural replacement for Gahey. So he's going to be my number one pick. Now, number two on the list, it's a toss up between Koundé and Saliba. Now, I obviously have both of them, and both of them did return. Saliba got 8, Koundé got 11 because he got the player of the match. If I had to choose one of them, I think I'd probably go for Saliba but Saliba looked excellent. But don't get me wrong, Koundé was fantastic and obviously did get the extra 3 points for being player of the match. But I think Saliba at the heart of that French defence is carrying them a little bit in that sense because Upamecano is prone to mistakes, and Saliba's mopping up really nicely. You know, obviously got a lot of ball recoveries in the last game. And I think, you know, as I said, it will be a tight game between France and Portugal. So I do expect Portugal to have their chances, but hopefully from from a Euro Fantasy League state, I'd like to think that France would hold tight with the clean sheet. So I'm going to put Saliba there just over Jules Koundé. But like I said, if you can get both of them, I would do it. I do think it's worth it going forward in the long run as well. And finally, the last player on this list that we're going to go for is none other than my hero Pepe. Like 41 years old, still managing to play nearly 150 minutes yesterday. He had 2 poor moments where you see age just almost caught up. The legs look tired. But other than that, he was phenomenal. He got 14 ball recoveries, which, again, I do expect Portugal to lose this. But I think when you've got a defender who can rack up ball recoveries, it doesn't really matter that they lose the clean sheet because you'll sort of make up for it with that. And with him, he was just blocking everything. Every time a ball came into the middle, he was there. If it played through the back, he was there. So yeah, I think Pepe for me as that last spot. Like I said, I don't expect Portugal to win, and I do expect France to score. But I think Pepe's ball recoveries that he has can probably make up for that. So yeah, Pepe will be the third and final defender on this list. Let's get straight into the midfielders. Okay, so obviously last week we actually did have some luck. You know, we had Jude Bellingham on there who got his goal. We had Fabian Ruiz who got a goal as well. So we did get some good picks from our team last week. And you know, Jude Bellingham, kind of, it's a no-brainer really. He has to be back on there for me. You know, turn up when England needed him right at the death, and you know, England were a minute away from going out. But Jude Bellingham it's just that guy at the moment. You know, he's got that sort of aura around him where it's always like what a superstar does. You know, you just expect him to turn up in the big moments. Now, for me, I know there's a little sort of toss and debate whether he should be playing as the 10, should it be Foden. I don't think Gareth Southgate is going to move him, and I think he will just continue to play. I think the only reason why he got subbed is because England were winning 2-1. I think if it was still 1-1, he probably would have just stayed out there and played through the 120 minutes. So yeah, for me, minutes wise, I think he's a dead cert. And yeah, he is England's best hope right now of progressing in this tournament. So yeah, Jude Bellingham for me at number 1. Number 2, like I said, it will be a tough game for Germany against Spain, but I have put Jamal Musiala on here. I think that if Germany are going to do anything, it's going to come through him. Gundogan is playing all right. Havertz playing all right. Wirtz obviously didn't start the last game, but Musiala seems to be the key to how they are playing, and obviously got another goal last game for them. It will be a difficult game against Spain. Like I said, Spain will hold the ball well, but I do think if Germany can get their foot on the ball and more importantly get Musiala on the ball, they obviously have a chance because he is quality, to be fair to him. So he's going to be my number 2 pick. And my number 3 pick will be in the same game as him, and it will be Nico Williams, who was outstanding in Spain's last game against Georgia. He was really good, come away with a goal. I think he got an assist as well, actually. Came back with a 10-point haul, which obviously, just fantastic for everyone who owns him. Him and Yamal down both sides look like they're just causing problems every time they go forward. So for me, yeah, I do like him. He's at 7 million, so he's still so cheap. Probably will be a bit higher owned this round. I think a lot of people would have seen how good Spain were, and in particular how good he was. But yeah, I think it's definitely still a viable option going forward, and someone who can hurt Germany definitely. Okay, and so onto the forwards. The first one, touching on Spain, we're going to go straight onto is Nico Williams' partner in crime down the other wing, and that's Lamine Yamal. Again, come away with, he got a return last game with an assist. I think his minutes wise, as we go further into the competition, will probably be more secured. Did play 90 minutes last game, looked such a threat every time he got the ball. Him and Nico Williams have such a good combination down the sides. And I do think if anything is going to happen with Spain, it will most likely be between one of them two. And at 6.5 million, you can't really go wrong. But just bear in mind, I do expect them to be quite high owned, the same way Nico Williams will be. So yeah, Lamine Yamal is going to be first up. Number 2, goes without saying, it is going to be Kylian Mbappe, France's main man, probably the best player at this tournament, maybe even arguably the best player in the world right now. Hasn't really lit this tournament alight though. Obviously has one goal through a penalty, but hasn't really been the Mbappe that we know and love. At some point, that's going to have to change if France are going to want to win this. And obviously Portugal, going to be a very tough game. France are going to need Mbappe to be at his best. Has the penalties, of course, which always helps, but he's just such a problem. And, if it goes extra time, he will play it all the way through. So it gives you prolonged time to actually get a return. And yeah, I think for me, with the way France's attack is at the moment, Dembele did get benched last game. They haven't really got a set number 9 that they're going with at the moment. I just think Mbappe is the best option up front. And finally, we're going to go for Mr. Harry Kane. Now, this is someone that I dropped last game. I didn't bring him in my team for the week just gone. Did get his goal. I didn't think he played that well, actually, to be honest with you. I thought he was very poor. But that is what Kane does. He can go through a game, playing so poorly. His touch hardly was in the game, was dropping deep. Not what you want to see as a striker, but was in the right place at the right time for the Ivan Toney flick on and did get his goal. And I do think that I do think England will get chances. It depends on how they play. If England play to the best of their ability, Harry Kane's always got chances of getting 1, 2, maybe in 3 goals. But it all solely depends on how England are and how they play as a team. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. But I think with the other options, the Ronaldo, if Netherlands go through maybe Gakpo or Depay, I just didn't really rate what Ronaldo was doing last night. And I just think Harry Kane's due a good performance, and he needs it as England captain. He hasn't played that well this tournament. He has 2 goals, both fairly simple finishes for someone of his caliber. But that's what he does. He gets himself in the right place at the right time. So yeah, Harry Kane's going to be my third and final pick for this. I just going to quickly bring you up on screen now. We're going to jump into the next section where I'll show you my current team selection, but more importantly, the transfers that I'm looking to make. Okay, so as you guys can see on screen, these are the 3 transfers that I'm currently looking at. I'm not going to use a chip this week. Like I said, I'm going to try and hold it for the semi-finals. What I will be doing is using my 3 free transfers that I have in the bank. So the first one I'm going to be making it's looking like Martin Guehi's going to definitely come out. And Pepe will be the guy to come in for him. Like I said, just so many ball recoveries with Portugal was central to everything they were doing. And yeah, I just really like the way he was at the heart of the defence. So I think he's a very good pick. And at 5 million, not the budget's a really a big thing, but I think he's great value for money. So yeah, Pepe's going to be the first transfer I make. Second one is obviously Harry Kane coming in up front. Like I said, I think he's due a performance with England. And Netherlands, as I said at the time of recording, I'm not sure if they're through or not, but I just would prefer Harry Kane over someone like Cody Gakpo. So yeah, Kane will be my second one in. And the last one, this one's the one that's still up for debate. I'm not sure who I'm going to bring yet. Right now I've got Fabian Ruiz on screen, as you can see, but I'm not 100% sure whether it's going to be him or not. What I'm going to do is I will upload another video before the deadline of a final team selection where you guys can see. Hopefully I would have confirmed all the transfers by then. But yeah, that last midfield spot, right now it's looking like it's going to be Fabian Ruiz. But I will update you guys either tomorrow or Friday before the games happen on what my final team will be. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have made it to the end of the video, if you have enjoyed it, please drop it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Like I said, I will be back hopefully either tomorrow or Friday. Depending on which time I get it recorded and edited. But yeah, I will definitely be back with a final team selection for you guys, just so you can see kind of like what my confirmed transfers have been and also what my team's looking like going into the quarterfinals of the tournament. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, like I said, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.